Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Health and Wellness podcast. I'm your host, and today we have a truly special episode lined up for you. We are going to dive deep into some incredibly powerful, yet surprisingly common foods that can transform your health. To help us unpack all of this, I am honored to be joined by our resident expert, Dr. Thomas. Doctor, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to be here. Today's topic is one close to my heart because we are talking about ingredients that are likely already in your kitchen, but you might not be using them to their full potential to detoxify your body and regenerate your liver and kidneys.
That sounds promising. You know, doctor, our bodies have these natural detox mechanisms, our liver, our kidneys, even our sweat glands. But sometimes, especially with modern diets and pollution, they get overwhelmed. So let's start with something many of our listeners might know, but perhaps underestimate: Kudzu root powder, or what we call arrowroot powder in some contexts. Why do we need this?
That is a great starting point. You're right. Even though our bodies are designed to filter toxins, the sheer volume of processed foods and environmental pollutants we face today can overload organs like the liver. Kudzu root powder is fascinating. In traditional medicine, it is renowned for its cooling properties.
When you say cooling, do you mean literally temperature-wise, or is that more of a metabolic concept?
It is metabolic. It helps to clear heat or inflammation from the body. It is exceptionally good at detoxifying the blood in the liver. For example, it helps reduce the pressure on the liver's natural filtration system. If someone has had a bit too much alcohol, kudzu root is actually a legendary remedy for sobering up and reducing the damage alcohol does to the liver cells.
I've heard about it being a hangover cure, but looking at it through the lens of modern nutritional science, what makes it so special? Is it just starch?
It is much more than just starch. Kudzu root contains a compound called puerin. Think of puerin as a cleaning crew for your bloodstream. It helps scrape away waste products and accelerate circulation. But there's another component that the ladies might appreciate: isoflavones.
Oh, I know isoflavones. They're similar to estrogen, right?
Exactly. They act as phytoestrogens. This makes kudzu root excellent for balancing hormones, which in turn helps reduce skin pigmentation like melasma and keeps the skin looking youthful and radiant. It also boosts the immune system, keeping your mind sharp.
So it's not just a thirst quencher, it's a full body support system. You also mentioned that it acts like a medicine for detoxing. How exactly does that mechanism work inside us?
Well, imagine the puerin I mentioned acting like a broom. It helps clear out the debris in your blood vessels. Additionally, there's another compound called diadzine, which is an isoflavone that supports liver function and protects the skin from inflammation.
That's incredible. Now, I want to touch on digestion. I know many people suffer from stomach issues like ulcers or acid reflux. Is kudzu root safe for them?
It is not just safe, it is highly recommended. Kudzu root is naturally alkaline, which means it helps neutralize excess stomach acid. When you drink it, it coats the stomach lining, making you feel more comfortable and stimulating a better appetite. Plus, for anyone with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, kudzu is a perfect alternative because it's naturally gluten-free.
That's great news for our gluten-free listeners. So we've established that kudzu root is amazing for the liver, skin, and stomach. But doctor, I've heard there's a specific way to use it to get these benefits, perhaps combining it with something else?
Yes, there's a very powerful combination we often prescribe in holistic medicine: mixing kudzu root with turmeric powder.
Turmeric, the golden spice. Why that specific mix?
It creates a synergy. We all know turmeric contains curcumin, which is a potent anti-inflammatory. When you pair the cooling, neutralizing effect of kudzu root with the healing power of curcumin, you create a remedy that protects internal organs comprehensively. It's fantastic for healing stomach ulcers quickly.
That combination of kudzu and turmeric sounds like a powerhouse for the stomach. I am sure our listeners are eager to know exactly how to prepare this. Can you walk us through the recipe, Dr. Thomas?
Certainly, it is quite simple, but the technique matters. You would start with about 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder dissolved in a little bit of water. At the same time, you take your kudzu root powder, about a tablespoon or so, and dissolve that in cool water first so it doesn't clump. Then you mix them into a pot with about 300 milliliters of water.
So we are cooking this mixture, not just drinking it raw.
Correct. You want to simmer it until the kudzu powder turns translucent and thickens slightly. Once it is cooked and clear, you turn off the heat. That is when you add the turmeric solution we prepared earlier. Stir it well. If you like, you can add a tiny bit of salt to balance the flavor.
And when is the best time to drink this? I assume not right before running a marathon.
Definitely not. The timing is actually crucial here. The best time to consume this kudzu and turmeric mixture is about 30 minutes to an hour after lunch or dinner.
Why after a meal? Why not first thing in the morning to wake up the system?
That is a very important warning. You should never drink kudzu root on an empty stomach, especially early in the morning.
Really? Why is that? I feel like we are told to drink lemon water or celery juice on an empty stomach, so why not this?
It comes back to the cooling nature of kudzu we discussed earlier. In the morning, your body's hormone levels are low and your internal temperature needs to rise. Kudzu is too cooling. It can drop your body temperature and be harsh on a cold, empty stomach. It might cause cramping or make you feel lethargic. You want to drink it when your body has some fuel in it.
That is a life-saving tip right there. So stick to after lunch or dinner. Okay, moving on from kudzu, let's talk about another set of ingredients that are staples in almost every kitchen. Lemongrass, ginger, and lemon. I feel like these are the holy trinity of home remedies.
They absolutely are, and for good reason. Let's start with ginger. While kudzu is cooling, ginger is warming. It's incredible for anyone suffering from cold conditions, like getting chilled in the rain or having a cold stomach.
I love a good ginger tea when I have the flu.
Exactly. Ginger contains gingerol, which has powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. It helps reduce muscle pain and soreness. If you've been working out or have joint pain, ginger is your best friend. It also settles the stomach effectively against nausea.
And what about the lemongrass? Is that just for flavor?
Not at all. Lemongrass is a detoxifier. It helps flush out toxins from the kidneys and liver. It's also a mild diuretic, which helps reduce bloating. When you combine the heat of the ginger, the detox power of lemongrass, and the vitamin C from lemon, you have a drink that boosts your immune system significantly.
It sounds perfect for flu season. Do you have a specific way to brew this trio?
Yes, you simply crush some fresh ginger, leave the skin on if it's organic, just wash it well, and crush a stalk of lemongrass. Boil them in water for about 10 minutes to extract the oils, then let it cool down a bit before squeezing in your lemon juice.
Why cool it down? Because boiling water destroys vitamin C. You want the water warm, not scalding when you add the lemon.
This drink helps alkalize the body and keeps your throat healthy.
Simple and effective. Now, doctor, let's shift gears to something a bit more pungent, but arguably even more medicinal, garlic. I know garlic is good for you, but you mentioned it can prevent some very serious diseases.
Garlic is essentially nature's antibiotic, but its most profound benefit is its ability to fight cancer.
That's a big statement. How does a simple bulb of garlic fight cancer?
It's all about a compound called allicin. This is what gives garlic its strong smell. Allicin has been shown to slow down the growth of cancer cells and even block the formation of tumors. It basically stops the bad cells from replicating. It's particularly effective for stomach and colon cancers.
Hearing that garlic has such potent anti-cancer properties really makes me want to add extra cloves to my dinner tonight. But doctor, does cooking garlic destroy that allicin compound you mentioned?
It can, yes. Allicin is actually formed when you crush or chop the garlic and let it sit for a few minutes. Heat can deactivate it if you are not careful. That is why one of the best ways to consume garlic for medicinal purposes is actually raw or fermented.
Eating raw garlic can be intense. Is there a way to make it more palatable?
Absolutely. This brings us to another golden combination, garlic and honey.
Oh, garlic and honey. That sounds like an odd flavor mix, sweet and pungent.
It might sound strange, but it is a traditional remedy that works wonders. Honey is a natural preservative and has its own antibacterial properties. When you soak garlic in honey, it mellows out the harshness of the raw garlic, making it easier to eat while preserving the allicin.
So it becomes like a syrup.
Exactly. You peel about 10 cloves of garlic, put them in a clean jar, and cover them with raw honey. Let it sit for a few days. The garlic infuses into the honey. Taking a spoonful of this or eating a clove from the jar is fantastic for boosting immunity and, interestingly, for heart health. It helps reduce cholesterol and blood pressure.
I will definitely have to try that. It sounds like a great thing to have in the pantry during winter. Now, let's move away from spices and herbs to something substantial, a comfort food for many, sweet potatoes. You called them a superfood earlier. I usually think of kale or berries as superfoods. Why sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes are underrated heroes. They're incredibly rich in beta-carotene, which our body converts into vitamin A. This is crucial for vision and immune function. But beyond that, they're packed with a specific protein that has been shown to inhibit colon and rectal cancer.
Colon cancer is a major health concern these days, so just eating sweet potatoes helps?
It does. It accelerates the transit time of food through the digestive tract, meaning toxins spend less time sitting in your system. It essentially sweeps the colon. Plus, for our female listeners, sweet potatoes contain precursors that help balance female hormones, similar to the kudzu root we talked about.
That is fantastic. But does it matter how we cook them? Fries are technically sweet potatoes, right?
Unfortunately, deep frying destroys most of the benefits and adds bad fats. The absolute best way to cook sweet potatoes to retain their cancer-fighting properties is actually baking or steaming them.
Baking sounds delicious. And what about the skin? I usually peel mine.
Please, stop peeling them. The skin is where a huge concentration of the fiber and antioxidants live. Just scrub them really well and bake them whole. The skin helps regulate blood sugar, preventing that insulin spike you might get from refined carbs.
Okay, note taken. Keep the skin on. Now, speaking of small things with big impacts, you wanted to talk about sesame seeds. They seem so tiny to be significant.
They are tiny, but mighty. Sesame seeds are packed with healthy fats, oleic and linoleic acids, which are fantastic for your heart. They help keep the blood vessels flexible.
I assume we're talking about both black and white sesame seeds.
Yes, both are good, though black tends to be slightly higher in certain minerals. They are also incredibly rich in calcium, more than milk actually, by weight. So for bone health, sprinkling sesame seeds on your rice or salad is a great habit.
I had no idea they had more calcium than milk. That is a great tip for anyone who's dairy-free.
It is. And another group of foods we must mention are fermented foods like kimchi or pickles.
I love kimchi, but isn't it just spicy cabbage?
It is a probiotic powerhouse. Because it's fermented, it introduces beneficial bacteria into your gut. A healthy gut means a strong immune system. Plus, kimchi helps break down fats and can actually aid in weight management and preventing hardening of the arteries.
I am so glad to hear that my kimchi habit is actually doctor approved. It is amazing how these traditional foods, kimchi, garlic, sweet potatoes, are validated by modern science. Now, Dr. Thomas, before we wrap up, you mentioned a specific 7-day artery cleaning protocol earlier. This sounds like the secret weapon you saved for last.
Yes, this is a very special recipe, specifically targeting the health of your blood vessels. As we age, our arteries can become stiff or clogged with plaque. This recipe uses wood ear mushrooms, also known as black fungus, which you can find in any Asian market.
Wood ear mushrooms. They have that crunchy texture, right? What do they do for the arteries?
They are incredible blood thinners, natural ones, of course. They help prevent blood platelets from clumping together, which is what causes clots. They act almost like a natural aspirin, but without the side effects on the stomach. They reduce the bad cholesterol and help keep the vessel walls elastic.
That sounds vital for preventing strokes and heart attacks. So how do we turn this mushroom into a remedy? Is it a soup?
Ideally, yes. It is a simple medicinal soup. Here's the formula. You need about 10 grams of dried wood ear mushrooms. Soak them until they're soft and slice them. You combine this with about 10 grams of fresh ginger, 30 grams of garlic, and, this is important, a few red dates or jujubes for blood nourishment.
That sounds like a savory, warming broth.
It is. You simmer all of these ingredients together. You can add a little bit of lean meat if you want some protein, but the medicinal power is in the broth and the mushrooms.
And how often should we eat this?
The protocol suggests eating this once a day for about 7 days. It's like a spring cleaning for your circulatory system. After that week, you can have it maybe once or twice a week for maintenance.
That is very doable. It's basically having a healthy soup for dinner for a week.
Exactly. And while you're doing this 7-day cleanse, try to incorporate the other foods we discussed. Maybe have the sweet potato for lunch, use the garlic and honey in the morning, and drink the Kudzu Root Tea in the evening.
It's like a full ecosystem of health. I also recall you mentioning something about cooking methods for meats if we're trying to protect our heart.
Yes, if you're going to eat meat, try to stick to lean cuts. But more importantly, combine your meats with these spices. Cook your chicken with plenty of turmeric and ginger. It helps neutralize some of the inflammatory effects of the animal fats.
That makes sense. Everything works together. Dr. Thomas, looking at this list, kudzu, turmeric, garlic, sweet potatoes, sesame, mushrooms, it strikes me that these are very affordable ingredients. You don't need expensive supplements to be healthy.
That is the message I want everyone to take away. Health is available in your local grocery store or market. It's about consistency. Eating a sweet potato once a year won't save you, but swapping your French fries for baked sweet potatoes permanently will change your life.
Consistency is key. Now, I have a question about the turmeric and kudzu drink again. Some people find the taste of turmeric a bit earthy. Can we add anything to make it taste better? Honey, perhaps?
You can add a little bit of honey, yes, but honestly, if you cook the kudzu correctly, it has a very neutral, slightly sweet taste on its own. If you find the turmeric too strong, just start with a smaller amount and build up. Your palate will adjust.
Great advice. And for the garlic and honey mix, how long does it keep?
Oh, it keeps for months. Because honey is a natural preservative, you can keep that jar in your cupboard or fridge for a very long time. It actually gets better with age as the garlic softens.
Just like fine wine.
Exactly, but much better for your liver than wine.
Dr. Thomas, this has been such an enlightening conversation. Before we let you go, I want to circle back to the lifestyle aspect. We have the food down, but you mentioned briefly that exercise plays a role in how these foods work.
Absolutely. You cannot eat your way out of a sedentary lifestyle. These foods, like the sweet potato and the sesame seeds, provide the fuel in the building blocks, but you need movement to circulate them.
So, walking.
Walking is perfect, even just 30 minutes a day. When you walk, you pump that nutrient-rich blood to your extremities. If you eat the wood ear mushroom soup to clean your arteries but you never move, the circulation is sluggish. You need the mechanical action of movement to help the biochemical action of the food.
It is a partnership between diet and movement.
Precisely. And hydration. We talked about the teas, ginger, lemongrass, kudzu. These count as hydration, but don't forget plain water too. Your kidneys need water to flush out the toxins that the kudzu root is helping to release.
So, to recap for our listeners, we have the kudzu and turmeric for the stomach and liver detox. We have the ginger lemongrass tea for warming and immunity. We have garlic and honey for cancer prevention and heart health. Sweet potatoes for the gut and hormone balance. Sesame seeds for calcium and healthy fats. And finally, the wood ear mushroom soup for cleaning the arteries.
That is a perfect summary. If you can rotate these into your weekly diet, you will notice a difference. Your skin will clear up, your digestion will improve, you will have more energy, and you will be protecting yourself against long-term chronic diseases.
It sounds like a plan for longevity, living to a ripe old age, as the title of our episode suggested.
That is the goal. Quality of life, not just quantity.
Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. These are practical, simple tips that anyone can start today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We hope you try these recipes. Maybe start with the sweet potato or the garlic honey this week. Let us know how you feel. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, and we will see you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.